Alright, so we're continuing making our drone the best drone ever. We installed the gimbal and it works fine, and it does have a separate tilt control for the gimbal here. So um, usually if you're not gonna use the gimbal, you wanna use one of those Mobius cams that you can just attach right here or right there on the bottom someplace here. And it does a great video quality, but you're gonna have the view of the props here because the props are huge. Now, I ran the test video yesterday. You could see the video from how I installed the Mobius cam, how I installed the gimbal. You could see that when the drone is flying that way, the camera tilts this way, and I could see sometimes when I do something like that, I could see this end of the arm and this end of the arm if I am in this position right here. So, and I could see the props as well because the props are huge. I could see them distorting the light because every time they rotate and they kind of black in color, the light gets distorted in the Mobius. So the point is to move this camera outwards here, and when I'm flying, I obviously need to tilt it down a little bit. So in order for me to move it this way, now the thing is, the reason I put those two rods slightly towards the back, so they would be sticking out the back. I had no idea I had one of those gimbals that mount directly to those two rods. So I was thinking I'm just gonna mount a regular gimbal to this plate right here. I didn't expect I will mount it to the rod. So the good thing is this frame supports these rods to be moved forward or backward, and for more stability, I'm thinking of switching the mounting points from the middle of the drone to those sections right here. So basically, those gonna be right here, the mounting slots for the rails. Right now they are inside there. So instead of me going inside and out all the time, I will just move them right here to those 4 points here. So let me show you how it's going to be done. Okay, so let's find the proper bit. And remember, in my previous videos, I basically mentioned 100 times that it's just a rough draft, so no need to put the thread lock on it right now because I will be taking it apart 100 times more, and that's because of those constant adjustments that needs to be done before it's gonna be a final good flying machine. So right now, to save time. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you're probably not gonna have those engines with those adapters, but each one of those bolts have to be hand tightened. If you just tighten it with one of those electric ones, in my last test flight, on one of the motors the bolts slightly came off, so the prop started to move around like that, and I was thinking it was something faulty, so I stopped and I rotated. I looked at each prop and it was loose right there at one of those bolts right there. So make sure you're gonna hand tighten each one of those bolts. Okay. You see, and this is the reason why we don't want to cover those inner bolts right here. Those guys right here, one and right here, we don't want to cover them because because we still need to have access to them. So let's see if I could find some adapter here for this. You don't want any loose bolts anywhere because they can short the board underneath. Alright. What you want to do, you want to magnetize them. Okay. Alright. Now, okay, so we need to cut a few zip ties here. Alright, so everything is pretty much off. Now I need to see if I have a good access to the landing pads. Right. Okay. You know what? You probably will have to access it 100 times more. So it's a good idea to not mount them in the middle there. It's better just to mount them here. So the access is horrible here. And that way you never have to take it apart for the maintenance in case you crash and you break one of those arms. Oh, you break one of those landing pads. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Okay. And one more. Okay. And one last bolt. Okay. All right, so here we keep this guy here for now. I will again relocate the. Okay. So, couple of things. One is, it seems that the power cable for the gimbal is a bit too short. All right. That's one thing. Second thing is, I'll take the battery off before you're gonna do all that. Okay, battery's off. And we can take the gimbal off too. Okay. So what you want to do with the gimbal, you want to move this cable right here, the power cable, towards the back, so that it will, even when it's going to be sticking out like that, it's going to have sufficient amount of length to it, because for right now my limitations are, well, maybe I should run it through the inside. Well, if I run this cable through the inside here, I probably will have a hard time maintaining it later on, but the distance is going to be much shorter. So again, I unplug the white cable here. This is the wiring. The white cable is middle top, and the black cable is for the last row on the corner here. It's called minus right there, and where T, that's the T, that's the minus. So let's disconnect that for now. Let's move the cable safely, so that let's move the cable not like this way, but under. Through this hole right here, and that way. Now it also seems to me that the cable that I did for the power, this cable, could be slightly longer. The power cables for the main battery that's sticking out right here. I think it could have been slightly longer because it's kind of hard to find it when I'm trying to connect the cable. So we put it back like this way. Okay. All right. We still will have to take it apart for the new GPS to be installed. Again, the thing is, there is multiple different GPSs out there, and most of them don't work well. So I ordered the one from China, again, from the source I know that worked fine. I went through about 5 different GPS units before I found the one that works. And that GPS unit, once it arrives, I hope it's going to work exactly the same way, in a good way. And that's going to have a GPS and a compass, and it's going to go right here. No, on the other side, because here is the cable, so that the place for the cable won't be interfered. It's going to go right here. And for me to install that pole, I will have to take it apart again, because the screws are from the bottom. So it's not like I'm gonna overdo the... Okay, so yeah, everything is there, going underneath. Okay, it's all nicely put. Yep, pretty good. I like it. So yeah, I like it a lot. Here, what's this for? This is the power. So I think if this is the power, we can actually run it underneath and there. Yep, because we don't really need that power to be sticking out here. What's that, buzzer switch? You know, while we're at, we can probably put a buzzer on the bottom as well, because it just doesn't really do much for me here, sitting on this wing right there. We don't really need this cable here to be happy. So let's see where I'm gonna shove it first. You know, since we have those holes freed up from the mount, we can shove the buzzer into there. Hold on. Okay, let's move this, and let's move that. And let's put it here. You know, the only problem is there is gonna be a GPS with compass here, and the buzzer might influence the, you know, I'm probably gonna put it in reverse like that, but there are two rods coming here, so I can't really put it on the bottom. Maybe I could just put it like that. Yeah. So it's a valuable real estate, but I would rather put it here. Yeah, okay. So let's run this through this end. Okay. And let's connect the buzzer here. Okay. All right. And just one last thing to take off once the arm breaks, because arms break all the time. Okay, let's see. Come on. I have to be so. Okay. Like that. Like that. And like that. Seems alright. Okay. Alright. So we got this. We got this. Okay. Alright, so and this we connect back to the buzzer right here. Yep. Make sure none of those cables have like string applied to them, because honestly everything gonna fall off once the vibration start when you start flying. Okay, one more thing I would probably want, you know, remove the switch someplace else, but for right now that's where it's at. Striving for a cleaner build, but not on this build. Some other time. Okay. So let's move all of them back in. Okay. Right. Again, you have to put 3 bolts on prior to tightening, because otherwise okay. Okay. Make sure none of the cables get jammed anywhere there. You know, use your fingers to make sure everything is clear of. Yep. Okay. 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 Wonderful. Let's keep going. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, so simple as that. Now, when you look at the system of the rails, there's a screw in the middle that's supposed to hold the rail down. I mean, should apply pressure to the rod so it wouldn't be moving back and forth. So let me first see how far out can I put this guy so that the power cables gonna have enough distance. So basically someplace here like that. This is as far out as it goes. Well, if I need to put it more out, I will just extend the power cables. Those power cables right here. I could just extend them a bit, it's no big deal. I just don't see any other pluses and minuses I could solder. So that's the reason I basically told you don't put the liquid tape yet, because you might want to solder those cables to the pads next to the ESCs. They might produce some interference, I'm telling you right now, but should be alright. So let's move this back. Let's connect this. You see, on the outside we could also connect. That's the reason I'm telling you this frame is much better than the 450 frame, because somebody who knows something about frames built it. Alright, like that. And where's the second one? Here. Let's see, there's one in here. There's one in here. Alright, you know what? I did a small mistake. We need to loosen this connection. We need to loosen this center pin first before installing the let's see. but I can install this one for now. And they all been thread locked, so they should hold the thread just fine. Okay. Nope, not the right one. Okay, that's the right one. Nope, not the right one either. Mm-hmm. It's both 1.5, those are the ones I used to tighten them in. Okay, now, strange, one bit is smaller than the other bit, but oh well. Okay, so we wanna put the screws in the back. Okay. Okay. Now we have one more guy to take care of here. Okay. Alright, I already used up the hole for something else. Again, the receiver we're gonna install eventually properly. For right now it's like that. So we put the rails back, I mean the rods, and we put this rod in here. Come on. Okay, and now let's see how far out can we put the whole setup. Okay, so this guy here, this is here. Okay, now we need to plug in the white and black cables. In the meantime, I wanna tighten up the nut on the bottom there. Okay, so white goes into middle top. Again, when it comes to gimbals, you get what you pay for, and my guess, this is a really good gimbal because it didn't give me as many issues as the previous gimbals. And just whatever issues it gave me, it was my fault to begin with. Alright, so I'm thinking the proper way to mount is those two arms to be slightly in the back of the hinges. Alright, so this one arm gonna go here like that and like that, and the second one gonna go here like that and like that. And let's see if we can do something like this. And the second one, yep, like that. So let's move it outwards as much as we can. So I'm thinking is this already tight, or is it has enough room? Yep, it has more room. Okay. So again, you don't want your cables to be super tight, because from vibrations one of those cables gonna disconnect. Okay, so that's as far out as it wanna go, because the this bracket basically prohibits it from going farther in. But that's in a way a good thing, because it's not gonna fall off the rails here. So do I want to move that slightly backwards so that the battery mount would be properly positioned in the back? Maybe put some rubber pads right here. Well, let me leave it as it is right now. Seems to be properly positioned gimbal. So hopefully a few inches this way should make the trick. Let me tighten up the... By the way, those rods, they are not exactly the same length for some reason. So here, maybe, yeah. Okay, so now we tighten up the screws for the rods. Okay, like that, like that. Okay, few in the back. Like that. And like that. You hear the click, that means the screw penetrated the rod. So that's the fine tuning. Okay. The problem here is that whenever I'm gonna land, I'm probably gonna hit that gimbal mount right here on the bottom because it kind of likes to rest. So either gonna put some pads here like that. All right. Now those cables right here, I would rather run them through this hole probably, but when I'm gonna take off arms, I'll have to connect and disconnect it, and I'll probably gonna end up gluing it. So not yet. Anyways, and the mount for the battery, I'm gonna go right here. I'm not sure if this cable is good enough. Okay, so if you want to have it balanced properly, so I would say, yeah, like that, and like that. Okay, and okay, and shove them in there. So we get a well-balanced machine like that. And the plug-in for the power gonna be right here. So plug it in and off you go. The only thing left to do is to get another battery without any adapters like that, a battery that would have like XT60 coming out. It would be much less weight, it would have much less weight, and yeah, hopefully this won't be moving around too much. This is supposed to be, once I get the perfect balance, I will move it back and forth the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, we still need the camera right here for the FPV. We need the GPS with the compass on it, and yeah, but that's pretty much the build. FPV, GPS with compass, a better connections here. We need to put some glue on top of every single wire there is, so that in flight nothing would get disconnected. So you need some glue right here, glue here, glue here, glue on the GPS, glue on the telemetry for the on-screen display, glue especially on this portion, here, 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 and here, and as well as right here. You'll also need the need some glue. All right, so I decided to free up some real estate space right here by moving the receiver to the wing, to one of the arms. For that, I'm just putting it like that vertically. Never seen anybody doing that before. I put a small little rubber pad right here, so it won't be moving back and forth. Another rubber pad would be good on the bottom, which I didn't put yet, but when I'm gonna be putting the GPS system, I will end up doing so. So for right now, I'll just use the two straps, the two zip ties, to mount it so that it won't be going anywhere. Well, let's see, maybe we can still. Maybe we can still make it work. Nah, that's below my expectations. Oh, I found another tie for the battery. Anyways, let's see. I wanted to go to one of the smaller holes so that it would be nice and tight against the arm instead of the bigger hole. So let's see, maybe we can just... No, there's no way like that. So you really need to do something like this. Alright, and then we need to go upwards a bit. And like that, like that, like that. Let's see. Let's see. Use the to secure it even more. Okay, got it. Alright, so it's nice and tight. Now the thing is, I could probably also have had mounted this, but instead I will probably mount it here to the top. I don't really need all this information here, or maybe it's good here, away from the props. But you need to understand the prop movement. It can be all the way... This prop is kind of loose. The prop can move like that and like that, depends on the air. It depends on the wind, depends on the air that this generates. So we need to install it away from all the props. And I'm thinking here would be the best option ever. Right here. I don't need all this information. Just some glue. Or maybe some sticky pad. I'm not sure if the sticky pad gonna hold it well. I'm thinking a direct glue would be the best option. Because the sticky pad is all gonna fall off and get into the prop and everything gonna come crashing to the earth. So decisions. Probably epoxy is the way to go. So I hope barometer is not here in some place. I hope barometer is there so that I wouldn't cover the hole for the barometer. So yeah, basically it's supposed to look something like that. Yep. So let me glue this in place. And when I use the glue, it's really toxic, so I have to use the exhaust